Okay, so the next few demos that Charlotte and I are going to show you, they are already available. So these are available for your use right now. So the first one we're going to go over is the divider. Pretty self-explanatory, but you want to use the divider if you're breaking up content on your page. We have a few different examples and different weights and colors. So teal and slate. You're going to be wanting to use teal or your heavier weights of that divider. If you're looking to emphasize text on a page or highlight something, you want to be using the slate the slate and like the thinner weights if you're looking to just kind of subtly break up content on a page. So kind of best practice here, you want to try to stick with similar weights and colors down your page unless you're using it to guide the user down the page with different information. So again, just don't go crazy with this. You want to try to keep it as consistent as you can. And when possible, use those thinner weights as opposed to your 5 pixel. So it actually comes in 3 different weights, 1, 3, and 5. And again, these 2 different colors. So if you want to see it in action, we have 2 different places on the website that's already using it. So this is the Honors College. So they, again, are using it in our best practice. So they're splitting up their Tampa, St. Petersburg, and Sarasota Manatee campuses on this page using a subtle 1 pixel slate color here. So really kind of smooth, minimalist transition here. And then on this page, so this is one of our locations page on main USF. So we're talking about the St. Petersburg campus. Kind of gives a blurb. We have a call to action widget. And then below, it lists all of the colleges. So we wanted to make this more of a larger break or a larger emphasis. So we decided to go with the 3-point teal color here to separate that content. And as you can see, you can use the divider component both on a gallery page like this or a text page like this. And with any other component or snippet on these types of pages, you can see that on a text page, it's only going to span across that working area. As opposed to the gallery page, it'll span across the full width of that window. So that's kind of the difference there. And I'm going to show you how to add it to a text page. So we'll go to edit, just as you would normally. And what Charlotte and I will be demoing today, everything can be found. These are all going to be components. So you can find them in the components tool in the WYSIWYG editor. So this little nucleus icon, if you hover over it, it also tells you what it is. So insert component, that's exactly where we want to be. So I'll click on the icon. You can either filter by name by typing it in or just scrolling through your list. So I'm going to click divider. I'll click insert. And as a reminder, a component is a form-based field. So once you click on the icon, you have to fill out all the information up front for it to then generate kind of the visual look on the page. So make sure that you have everything ready to go when you're going to add a component to a page. Actually, I just told you to have everything ready, and I don't. I have to my content on the page. There's no point of a divider if there's no content. All right, so I'm going to add in my content here. And this information is talking about freshman admission info. So I'm going to make sure that I'm adding some headers here, making sure that everything is consistent. But because this is essentially information for one audience, so freshman students looking to come to USF, I don't want to have a huge emphasis or a kind of a big transition on the page. So I'm actually going to opt for that less thick weight and slate. That's what I'm going to do for these. So I'm going to have my cursor where I need it to be on the page. Oops, right here. Then click on the divider. And again, there's only 2 options for the divider, the color and the weight. So I'm going to keep it default as slate and just keep this at 1. I could go to 3, but I want it to be very subtle and a minimal transition. And that's what it looks like there. And then I'm going to add a few more here. Again, I'm making this consistent. So I'm using the same weight, the same color. I'll click save. And then I'm going to add one more here. Divider, insert, save. And that's how it looks on the page. I'll need to edit this spacing, but again, it's totally up to you. We're just giving you best practices. If you really thought that this information, and then you had maybe a lot more text copy that you really needed to kind of have a transition in this type of content, then you could use a thicker weight, a different color. But for this, I just wanted to do something simple. So with that, are there any questions about dividers before we move on? Pretty self-explanatory. But we also go ahead.
Where is the divider again?
So anything that we're editing today is going to be within this component, insert component tool within the WYSIWYG editor, the what you see is what you get editor. So it's going to be right here. That's where you're going to find all of the components that we're demoing today. So again, you can either look for this little nucleus icon, or if you just put your mouse over it and leave it for a second, it'll actually come up with kind of a helper text. It'll tell you insert component. So all you want to do is just click on it, and then you can either scroll through the list of all of our available components here, or you can filter it by name. So I could just click on divider, or if I wanted, I can start typing it in, and then there it is right there. Any other questions about dividers? And I wanted to point out, Jessica's done a great job designing these. We hear you all. We appreciate your feedback, and we know that we want to add sometimes a little bit more color or some more visual dynamic elements on the page. So that's what we're trying to incorporate here. So we added your teal in there, different weights, just to make sure that you all are getting kind of that stylized component you want, but also making sure that there's not so many options that it can get overwhelming for the user on your page. Anything else about dividers? Any other questions? Okay, so we are going to go to our link list next. So again, link lists are intended to be used to organize links. You want to make sure that you're obviously grouping similar links together for easy navigation. Just like with any great link, you want to make sure that you're not using words like click here or learn more. You want to give it a bit more context. This is important for just any user on your page to help navigate, but also especially for accessibility purposes and screen readers who are seeing those links on your page. You need to give them context for where that link is going. So again, try to avoid using vague text, and then also try to limit the number of links in your link list. Too many will get too overwhelming for the visitor to your page. So these are really fun because we offer a few different colors for these. So we give you apple and teal, and we actually give you 3 different styles. So your bordered is just going to be this straight line here that organizes the links like this. And as you can see on the hover for any link, it's going to underline it so that a user knows that they can click on it. That's what distinguishes a link on your page. We also offer chevrons, so are these little arrows, and ooh, this is going to be a fun little surprise. When I hover, there's a little bit of an animation there. So for any link that's a hover on this chevron style, it'll have that bit of an animation. Again, that's offered in apple and in teal. And we'll get another animation here for our square arrows. So pretty self-explanatory. It's an arrow within a square. And it has that little slight animation there, again, in green and in teal. Again, it's up to you and your department, depending on the style you want to use here. Again, it's totally up to you, but just kind of use your best judgment here. We don't want it to be too overwhelming. Let's say, this animation might be too much if it's like 10 links down a page. You might want to go with something like a bordered style. So just play around with that, and it makes it easy in a component to kind of change it up and see what looks best. So a few in action that are already being utilized. So here for the Bellini College, I helped edit this page. There isn't a lot of visual content on this page, so I wanted to add something here to add a bit of a visual element. So For these, we are just outlining the different affiliated programs within these colleges. So we wanted to add a link list just to add, again, a bit more color on the page to organize these links. So it wasn't just, a long bulleted list of a whole bunch of links. So that's where they're added here. And then you can see, I also wanted to point out a link list, because it's a list of links, it has to have a minimum of 2. So you see here, obviously this is more than 2, but when you go farther down the page, this is just one link. So I actually use an arrow link component instead of a link list because there's only one of them. So that's kind of the difference here. And then in HR, they do a good job here. So a lot of information on the page, but then as you scroll down, this one really catches your eye. It's organized in this, this structured link list, and they have a little bit of an animation. They use this teal color. So again, they're using this as highlighting their really important links on that page. So I think they do a great job here of utilizing that link list. So again, you're going to want to have all of your information ready when you add it to a page. So I'm going to go to edit, and I'm going to pull over the content I need. Or actually have it copied on another page, I should say. So once again, you're going to want to make sure the page is checked out. You go to edit. You're going to scroll down the page, and just like I did last time, go to this nucleus icon, the insert component. And this one's the link list. So I can actually start typing it in, link list, I'll click insert. And so there's a few different options here. So for the theme, again, you can either do border, square, arrow, or chevrons, and in either the apple or the teal. So for today, I'm going to go with chevrons and apple. So my link text, I want to make sure is descriptive. So the links that I'm adding here are actually just links to different pages. So I'm going to just do main USF here. Just like with any other link within the CMS, if it's an internal link, which means it lives within the CMS, you want to use the dependency manager here to link to that page. This makes sure that if the page is edited or moved or copied, that it doesn't break any links in the future. So I'm going to click on it here and then navigate to the page I need to do, which, oh, it's not letting me. Okay. Because I don't have access to it. Okay, so we're just going to pivot here. I'm going to link to the College of Design, Art, and Performance. So I need to update this. Every single time I do a workshop, something goes wrong. So thanks for sticking with me. There we go. So you want to make sure that it opens in the same tab. Again, internal links, you're going to open in the same window. External links open in a new window. So I'm going to hopefully have access to this page. And let's see. There we go. So this one I'm linking to the Judy Genshaft Honors College. Again, I navigated it. I typed the filter into honors. I'm going to the index page. And this is just a side note. If this window ever pops up for you when you're linking a page, always make sure to do .aspx. That's what you're always going to want to select. It's opening in the same window because it's within our CMS. And I want to add one more external link. So if I want to do that, it's going to be called a new group. So a grouping of that link. I'll just click on this here. Now I have group 3, and I'm going to call this the Tampa Bay Times because that is where I'm linking to. So for this, because it's an external link, I'm just going to copy and paste and change this to yes. If it's an external link, you want to make sure that it opens in a new window. And our designers made it really easy here. If you, let's say, add your links but need to change the order, you could actually go here and click this arrow. It'll now move the Tampa Bay Times link up to group 2. So now it's the second link that appears. If I don't want it at all, I can click on this X. And then if I didn't want to have to click down here, I could also click this plus button and it'll add a group for me right here below. But because I don't have a fourth link, I'm just going to delete that here. I'll click save, and here's my link list. So I'll click save here, and you can see right here our different links. You'll see this little animation. And then here are the links that I linked to here. Oh, yep, College of Art, Design, Art and Performance, the Honors College, and then Tampa Bay Times. And then I didn't mention this in the last demo, but for any component you use, see as you hover over it, it kind of highlights it in this box. And it also tells you right here with that same nucleus icon that it is a component. So if you ever need to go back and edit the component, you could just click on it and you'll see this pencil icon. You'll click on it again, and that's how you can edit it. Or if I want to delete it from a page completely, I'll again see this highlighted box, click on it, and then I'll click the X, and that removes it from the page. Any questions about the link list component? Okay, well then I will kick it over to Charlotte for the next two demos.
Yeah, let's make sure I unmute myself this time because that's been an issue for me lately. Okay, let me get my screen share up. Hey, is everyone able to see that? Yeah.
Looks good.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay, so the first component I'm going to introduce to you is the lead text component. So lead text is an element that we're intending to be used as an introduction or otherwise at the beginning of a section on your page, either at the very top of the page or later on introducing bits and pieces. You want to use it to set the tone for your content and provide a summary of important context on the page. So you can see here, we have an example of lead text. It's nice and big. It's currently styled to be a bit larger than normal body copy, so it can help grab your user's attention and kind of guide them into the rest of the content that you have. So as a caveat, don't use it on your page, though, just to have larger text. You want to make sure that it is preceding or introducing that additional content. So again, here we have it as an example, and then you have some regular paragraph text following it. If you want to see it in action, we have it on our friends, the MUMA College of Business. So this is their State of the Region introduction page. They have the lead text as the first paragraph of their content. It introduces their Tampa Bay E-Insights report and briefly highlights some specific portions of the report that they really want to make sure people are aware of. Now, how do you actually add it to a page? So I've preemptively put some regular paragraph text in there again by copying and pasting from the other location in the page. But I'm going to create a new line. And like Grace showed, I navigate over to the component icon in the WYSIWYG editor. And I will click it, and I can either scroll down to where it says lead text, or I can type it in the filter field there. I will click that and then hit insert. And so this one has the modal window here, and it is just a mini WYSIWYG editor. It doesn't have as many options as the normal WYSIWYG editor that you see when you're editing a page. It has a few basic formatting ones. So what I recommend when you're using the lead text is only use some extra styling when necessary. For example, bold or italics. If you are using mentions of a magazine title or a boat name, like those are instances where you'd want to use italics, but don't just use it to add extra styling. Let the built-in styling of the template work for it. So here I'm going to type, this is some awesome lead text, and it introduces the rest of the page's content because I'm not as awesome as Grace and I did not prepare stuff to copy and paste in. So I'm going to click save, and you can see that in the edit view, it is styled to look like it. It has the little hovery thing. If you wanted to re-edit it, if you're like, now I actually have some real content to put in here, not like Charlotte, you can click on it and then click the little pencil icon, open it back up. Or if you're like, no, this is terrible, hit the X and it will delete it. But I'll save. And there you go. You can see this is some awesome lead text. It's not doesn't have as many options as the ones Grace showed. So I can ask you guys now, any questions about lead text?
I guess if no one wants to ask a question, just in case no one thought of it, is there a character limit on this? Is there kind of a best practice for like how large or how many characters are used in lead text, or just kind of using your best judgment?
We don't have a character limit in place on it. Again, we're trusting you to use your best judgment on this, but I would say you don't want to use this for like huge swaths of text because, again, it's meant to be an introduction. So maybe like a succinct first paragraph of your copy, or as the College of Business has, it's like a single sentence, kind of catching users' attention. You don't want to overwhelm them with too much like huge text going on. So think about it as like if you're reading a book, you know how sometimes like the first page, like it might have a little bit of a bigger thing and then it leads you into it, or a textbook has that where it's a summary. Use it like that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Grace. So then next one we have is the CTA Banner. So this is one of our newest components. Boop. So Jessica, our UI UX designer, has been working on creating some standalone call to action elements that break away a bit from our standard CTA widget that you see a lot on homepages, you know, with the little green icons that bounce when you hover over them. This component is our first iteration of that, and it's relatively straightforward. It consists of a text piece and a link. And so this is intended to capture users' attention. You want to use it to prompt them to take a specific action. And so there are two options for it. You have the horizontal CTA banner and you have the vertical CTA banner. With the horizontal one, your text and your link are side by side. And with the vertical one, they're stacked with the text on top of the link. So a disclaimer for this though, if you're going to use this component, please make sure that the link text is descriptive and understandable without the preceding text. This is because when we built this component, I forgot to put it inside of the same element as the preceding text, so it doesn't exactly have some like, programmatically determined context for it that assistive technology can use to provide some additional information for the users. So that's my bad. And we're going to work on fixing it so that you have a little bit more flexibility with the language you choose for the links. But for now, avoid ambiguous link text, no learn more, no click here, things like that. And we'll let you know when we fix it so that you can, if you decide you need to have stuff that's a little bit more succinct. But for now, you can see it in action. Again, our friends, the MUMA College of Business, boop, they recently redesigned their homepage. And at the very bottom of it, you can see the CTA banner component. Start your MUMA journey, why MUMA? So again, why MUMA as link text stands out. If a user of assistive technology is accessing the links on your page out of order, it still provides them some information on what the page they're going to what information will be there. So again, you can notice that this is on a homepage and not a text page. And that's because we've been experimenting a bit with using certain snippets and components on homepages, specifically within 3-column text widgets. So support for it isn't perfect yet, so it's not globally available at this point. But if you're interested in it, you can reach out to the team and we can discuss what works, what doesn't, if it would fit your needs, and if it doesn't fit your needs, if there's another way we can accomplish what you're looking for. But you can see that College of Business is using the component at the bottom. They have that concise language so that it's not just like a huge chunk of text going on, looking kind of funky. It's straight to the point and encouraging people to take a specific action. Now, if we want to add it to the page, we'll go into our WYSIWYG editor, just like before, and we'll click on a new line and navigate to the component icon in the toolbar. And this one, fortunately, we don't have to scroll for. It's right there. Thanks, alphabetical order. We select CTA Banner and click Insert. And you'll see a couple options here. The first one is the display. Do you want it to be horizontal, where the text and the link are side by side? Or do you want it to be vertical, where they're stacked on top of each other? We'll just stick to horizontal for now. But for the text, we'll put, I'm a CTA banner. And then for the link text, we'll do, I'm a link. For the URL, as Grace showed before, we'll use the file chooser to try to navigate to something, again, that we can't see necessarily. So I'm going to go to the arts again. The arts is very popular today. Select that, click choose file. So it inserts the dependency tag there. And as an aside, one of the reasons we encourage use of dependency tags instead of writing out the URL by hand is that if you end up relocating, moving around some pages on your site, links will automatically update and you won't have to worry about being like, yo, change your links. It'll take care of it for you. Whether or not you want to open the link in a new tab or window is the next option. Like Grace was saying, don't open a new tab or window if it's an internal link. Open it in a new tab or window if it is an external link. But this college is within our site, so they're cool to stay here. No new tab for them. You'll click save, and there you can see, I'm a CTA banner. I'm a link. And if we're like, no, I want it to be vertical, we click on the component, go to the pencil, if it'll let me. It's not letting me. No plan survives contact with the enemy, and the enemy in this case is the CMS. So I'm going to put some extra text after it, if it'll let me. I've been abandoned. There we go. Haha. Okay. I'm going to change it to vertical and click save, and now it's showing vertically. I'll save this page, and there you go. You have a CTA banner. Does anyone have any questions about these call to action banner elements?
Is there a character limit on these, Charlotte?
I don't think so. Again, we want to kind of trust your opinion on it, what works best for your content. We don't want you to run into a situation where if it's a specific term that needs to be used that we did not anticipate. So just again, use your brain, think, does this look okay? Maybe it looks better if it's vertical, if it has some extra text instead of horizontal. You'll have a little bit more wiggle room with it if you're using it on, say, a home page or a gallery page versus a text page that has a much smaller content well. But if you run into issues, you can always reach out to us and we can help you figure out why it's being funky. But if no one has any questions, we can get to the part of the presentation that I'm looking forward to the most, which is Jessica Gray. Oh, we do have a question. Jade, what's up?
Jade, can you? Yeah.
Oh,
Can't
okay.
hear you, Jade. That's right.
Oh,
Go
you
ahead.
can't hear me?
I
Oh,
can
no,
hear you
now
now.
we can.
What's up?
Sorry, my headphones in. Okay. So you use those banner links in like a 2-column snippet and then has like 2 side by side if you wanted to do them?
I haven't tried it, but let's try it now. See what happens. You should be able to technically, but the CMS, I like to say, is haunted. So sometimes it doesn't work the way I expect. Let's grab a 2-column content snippet and let's put in CTA banner. Gonna go blah, blah. Because right now we don't care. We just want to see if it works. Oh, that's funky. See how it looks when we save though. Oh, cool. Look at that. It works. I would say if you're going to use it in a 2-column situation like that, then you probably would want to use the vertical option because otherwise it's going to get real squished real fast.
Awesome, thanks.
No problem. Any other questions? Oh, I see in the chat, Madeline asked, how do you find the dependency tag for a website so you don't accidentally link to a website that you later move?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm adding the link right now, Charlotte, too.
Okay.
So she'll have it there. But
Okay,
go
yeah.
ahead.
So you can either navigate to it via the file chooser, like when you're in a page and find it that way and insert, or see if it's over here. There is a gadget called dependency tag information. So let's say I want to know what the dependency tag is for the USF homepage. So let's see if I type index.ucf in here with a little / at the start to let it know it's off the root. Will it work? Look at that. Yeah. And there you go. That's the dependency manager tag. You can see that it is prefixed by an F colon there that indicates file. It's also possible, I believe, to get the directory itself. Will that work? Aha! But it doesn't give us a dependency tag for that because sure, why not? But yeah, you can use the dependency tag widget or gadget and use it to search and find things that way. It also has use it for assets, staging path, the production URL. So like the full usf.edu / such and such / index.aspx, plug that in, and you can get it that way too. Anything else? Okay,
We'll
now for the
also
really
have time for questions at the end. Sorry.
No, it's
If
okay.
you think
Okay,
of something later.
cool, exciting stuff. Jessica, it's your turn.
Woohoo.
All right. Woo. Thank you, Charlotte. Good morning, everybody. Let me have a moment to share my screen. Alrighty. Can we see this? Good to go. Goes over here.
Yep, you're good.
Yep.
All right. Awesome sauce. So, this is a exclusive look at upcoming components that I have been working on. I would say they're in the beta right now, but I'm super excited to share with you guys, and let's get started. All right, so first off, disclaimer. The components shown in this presentation are not final and are subject to change. Visuals, behavior, and usage guidelines may be refined based on more testing and feedback and continued development. All right, so let's get in. So first off, buttons will be getting refreshed. And what's new? So updated styling. Buttons now will have more padding, and they will also be boldened to improve readability and more breathable feel. They will have a flexible width, so they'll no longer be a fixed width as you've seen on many pages. And I will show it in an example where the text will go on 2 lines and it's just a big chunky button. So that's going to be eliminated. So now the buttons will be adjusted based on text for better responsiveness. The buttons will also be within a group by default. So you can put up to 3 buttons together. The first button will be primary, while the remaining will be secondary. So it's kind of showing a little insight here in the image to the left. And with the with being based on text, we will introduce a character limit, because if not, it will get pretty insane. You have a long green block on your page, and you don't want that. So the limit will be 35 characters, of course, to maintain balance and to avoid overflow. So one example right here is showing on the left. As I mentioned, the buttons will go on 2 lines if it's overflowing on text. And on the right, which is the after, you'll see the difference. Again, it's a slightly bolded. It's a little bit more padding on the top and bottom, and it's more hugging the text. And the character limit for the, it's not fixed character limit, but as many that's in this are about 28 to 30. So that's kind of giving you a good idea of how long the buttons can go. And then you'll also see, like, yeah, if it extends more than this, it can get pretty interesting, and we don't want that. Here's another example that I have found where using the buttons grouped, you have the primary first shown, and then you have the secondary buttons following. For the one on the left, it's for users, it could be kind of confusing where they would want to click first. So having that after, where you have the primary focus be apply now, which we all know is the primary focus, that's more emphasized and highlighted, whereas how to apply and requirements are secondary actions, and they visually show that. All right, so cards are a brand new component that I am super excited to introduce to the CMS, because they are so flexible and there's so many use cases for them to help with content. So jumping right in, we're going to start off with the standard cards. They are a clean, flexible way to present bite-sized content across your site. They help organize information into scannable sections, great for highlighting services, programs, resources, or any quick read content. So here's one little preview of it, but on my next slide, I will show you both of them. So here's the structure of them. You have the card heading, a brief description, which is optional, and then you have your CTA link area, which can be 2 choices, between a arrow link or a button. And we're also exploring giving the option for a arrow link button as well. So I had to scour all of USF to find a page where I feel like a card could be applied to and make sense. So I was able to find one within Honors College on their scholarships page. On the left, you have like the typical layout that they have and requires you to scroll. So on the after, I was able to put the cards. I will say that there's a minimum that you have to do 2. I should have put that in earlier, excuse me. But there's a minimum of 2, and there's no limit at this moment to how many you could add. But again, it will be based on user discretion and that sort of thing. So as you can see, the readability is much better, is easy to be scanned, and it reduces your users to have to scroll to keep, reading the information. So it's all just on one thing. So it eliminates excessive real estate on your page. And then next are media cards, which are the same exact thing as regular cards, but you can add an image. So media cards offer a visually engaging way to present content by combining text with imagery. So they're perfect for drawing attention to featured content, stories, or events where a strong image helps communicate the message. And again, there's a little snippet, but I will show you the full up close. So say again, same structure, but the image at the top. We are potentially exploring having video and maybe GIFs, but of course with the ability to pause for accessibility reasons. But again, that's something that's potentially pie in the sky, or it may be shown in the future. We'll see. But one thing that I wish I could show is that when you hover over the image, there is a interaction, like a soft zoom in. Wish I could show that, but it's just a regular static image. One example that I found, this is a featured story snippet on a homepage type of layout. So, but we're still exploring if we want to potentially use the structure for that same type of snippet. But again, just for a presentation today to show how the structure can translate into a media card and how it will look. So you see the images is flipped at the top. You have the CTA button. I did do some condensing to make sure it's on one same level, but that's just to show, again, for presentation today. All right, and the final card today to show are callout cards. So callout cards are designed to highlight key messages or helpful information in a clear and scannable format. They will use icons and structured text to draw attention without overwhelming the page. So here's one example on the left, but there's 2. So you have the default callout and the information callout. As you see the structure here, you have the icon, which is static and cannot be switched out or changed at this moment. You have the heading, brief description, and you have a link. I will say that this description is required and the link is optional. And then for information, same structure, but it's just blue. And in the world of UI UX, blue is related to information. So just made sense. So here's an example that I took from the esports lab several months ago, where on the left is just a, I forgot the name of the snippet. So Charlotte will probably be able to clarify. Context. Okay, awesome. There you go. Yep. Perfect. Call out text. So on the left is the call out text, just regular, how it is now. And on the right is the call out card with the new design and more emphasis on that. And then I have another example here showing the information one. I felt that the content in the this USF's ADA lead felt more information based, so I felt that was more appropriate to showcase that. And there's also no character limit that we're thinking of. Again, user's discretion on that. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
I'm excited for these, so I hope you all are too. And again, we take your feedback, and hopefully these are things that you might have been asking for a while, and we're trying to create them for you. So hopefully you're excited.
Yes. Yep. Again, still in beta, so lots of potential changes. Yes, Adrian, I'm excited as well because there's more. So what I'm currently working on for you guys are the accordion/toggles will be getting a refresh. We're exploring toggle buttons and then a plethora of new cards. We have people cards in the works. I would show an example, but we're still deciding on final design. So until next time on that, we have feature cards looking at, overlay cards, stack cards, and then also a question and answer component that will be nice for Q&A sections that you guys may have on your pages. With that, thank you so much. And I'm excited.
Woo-hoo!
And woo!
Yay! Thank you, Jessica.